Need more Mike Delivers? Head over to patreon.com or download the Patreon app and type in Mike Delivers. Get a full catalog of bonus podcasts like the one time Mike crashed his wife's 2007 Toyota Rav4, behind-the-scenes videos, and more food reviews. Go to Patreon and check it out now.
My name is Mike Biseglia. I'm 37 years old, and I use the Lawnmower 3.0. Use my promo code, Mike Delivers, all one word, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping on your own Lawnmower 3.0. What is the Lawnmower 3.0? It is an electric trimmer that cleans your ball hair. I recommend it, I use it, and it's helped my life tremendously. As a 37-year-old that's feeling bad about himself because he turned 37 and the age has turned a corner, the best thing I have going for me right now is the Lawnmower 3.0. Use my promo code, Mike Delivers, all one word, you get 20% off. You can even have mine. You can have my used Lawnmower 3.0.
Welcome inside. Mike delivers from his wife's, cat's, his own living room. Here's your host, Mike Biseglia.
That's right, this is Mike Delivers, episode number 84. And I'm your host, Mike Biseglia. And I'm coming to you from my wife's garage in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I start to laugh already. I'm only 7 seconds into the introduction for the podcast, and my good friend Leon the cat is in the background molesting one of his mice, which is one of these like pet mice, and he's just all over it, and all you hear is squeak, 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 squeak. So there's a chance that I'm going to have to stop this podcast to pull that thing from him because of how annoying it is. Big shout out to the O'Brien Creative Group. They are the guys that made my amazing looking logo. You see the Mike Delivers logo on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which is all Mike Delivers Pod. That is the handles for all three of those accounts. Thank you to Drew O'Brien and the O'Brien Creative Group for making the amazing logo. If you're interested in having a cool logo like that for your business, if you're doing a podcast, whatever it might be, I highly recommend these guys. It's more than just a logo. It's about brand identity, which I think is being shown right now in the Mike Delivers podcast. Info for them on the show notes. Jessica, this is the Taco Bell month, the month of June. Taco Bell. We actually had a recommendation from my guy Jose Arellano, who said, hey Mike, you got to try the Baja Blast from Taco Bell. And I said, Jose, I have, but you got to go to my Patreon page to find out about it. And what I mean by that is the Patreon page, Mike Delivers, it's bonus content. It's more reviews from Taco Bell, more reviews from when we had our sandwich month back in May, how I crashed my wife's 2007 Toyota Rav4, extra food reviews, blindfold taste test. My wife puts her pantyhose around my eyes and then feeds me food. This is not some kinky porn. This is part of the Mike. When I say it out loud, I'm like, my wife puts pantyhose on me and then feeds me food. This just sounds like we're doing a porn. But it's not. It's just my Patreon page. My dad watches it. So it can't be that weird, right? Anyway, check it out. Mike Delivers, Patreon page, bonus food. So, Jose, if you want to see the Baja Blast review, head on over to the Patreon page. Jessica, Taco Bell month continues. And for the first time all June with Taco Bell, I'm not pissed off.
Well, that's because we took some advice.
We did.
To customize.
We did. So,
to our actual taste preference, not just for like this sign. We've done the straight up order.
Yep.
We've done kind of test tasting for scientific reasons, and now this was like, okay, this is what I'd actually order.
So this is from Alex Earp at NYFan1987 on Twitter. He says, Alex wrote, I'm from Toms River, New Jersey, and I'm a fan of your podcast. My question is, why don't you and your wife custom the food to how you would like it? We went back and forth, and I explained to him why it didn't make sense. And then I was like, you know what? You make some strong points. He said, I saw your answer, but but it has the cheese that you're going to rip it for that reason, basically. But if you order it without cheese and compare it in your head to other items you've had with that type of food, your score would be more accurate. And I was like, fuck you, Alex Earp.
I did not know
You're a fucking genius.
I didn't know this conversation went so deep. I actually thought that was just kind of where it ended.
So, if you're curious what I'm doing Thursday at 10:20 at night, this is it. I'm DMing with Alex Earp, and he made some good points. He convinced me, for at least for an episode or two, that's the way to do it.
Well,
I have to say, he made some valid points. Alex Earp, I don't know what you do. Maybe you're a lawyer, but you got me, bro.
Yeah, that's
good
a
job.
good argument. I would say if it were maybe a different restaurant,
What do you mean?
I would push back more. But Taco Bell is known for their customization. They really are. Like, you can get anything.
Yes.
You can, if you look at have you even looked at the app? You can add red things to your items. I don't even know what red things are. They look like the wontons you get with, or the little Crispies you get with wonton soup, but they're like an artificial color red. Like, I don't know. You can add Fritos to anything.
That's crazy.
You could put, so I think that so here's what I'll say. Back up.
Yeah.
One of the things we tried today was a steak quesadilla.
Yes.
You know it's not on the menu, right?
I did not know that.
See, that's what I mean. The only option for a quesadilla is chicken quesadilla. So when you order it, you have to go remove chicken, which we almost got a chicken and steak quesadilla.
My bad.
So, but it's interesting that you can't just go. You can't pick any of the proteins. There's a default protein.
Right.
Then you have to work backwards from whatever that is.
Yes.
So I think that's why this is right for the customization.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because
All right,
I
cool.
don't think because it's the whole, like, have you ever heard really good sushi restaurants, they don't let you use soy sauce because they're like, this is the way it's supposed to be made.
Yes,
that kind of a thing.
Yes.
So I think that is not Taco Bell.
See,
also, I see the same guy every Sunday.
See, that's funny because that's how my brain works. Like, if you go to a good steakhouse and you're like, I want it well done, you're like, like, let the chef prepare it.
But you're a huge substituter in general.
Just with cheese. Nothing else. What else do I substitute? Just cheese.
Anything creamy, not just cheese, like a sauce. You like an aioli on the side.
Yes, but I'm actually not a big substituter. I'm going to push back a little on that. Cheese, yes. But, like, if you go to a Spanish restaurant, Mexican restaurant, Japanese restaurant, I'm not switching anything.
Saying general.
It's just the cheese. I'm going to push back on that. I got to defend the Mike Delivers turf.
Okay, so
this is not just the sauces.
There's eggs in something.
Well, that's a different one. So, yes, eggs are another one. Eggs, yes. Outside of breakfast, outside of egg items, I don't really switch things up a bit.
You just said outside of cheese items, you don't switch things up.
Cheese and eggs. Those two combo.
Well, it's a good thing that those aren't very common.
They are common, but they're not common to me. Like, I'm not a cheese or egg person. I mean, that's not like, I'm getting better with cheese, but I still have a little bit of the heebie-jeebies when it comes to it.
I just don't tell you when something is in something, and you're totally fine with it.
Yeah,
I made lobster rolls with mayonnaise. Didn't know. Loved them.
Well, because you had yogurt in there too.
I was half Greek yogurt and half mayonnaise.
Yeah, no, maybe.
But would you have eaten that if you knew it?
Maybe I'm a mayonnaise guy.
Would you have eaten it if you knew it?
I would have. Yes, that I would have eaten. You know what? Maybe I'm a mayonnaise guy. I didn't know it. I'm gonna wake up one morning. We're gonna go for breakfast. And I'm like, hi, yes, ma'am. I would like to do a scrambled egg with a side of shredded Gruyere. And if you don't mind, can you plop just a dollop of sour cream and mayo in there? That'd be fantastic. What did you do with my husband?
No, that's disgusting.
I'm not a substitutions guy for the most part. If we went for Chinese, I wouldn't substitute anything.
Okay,
for Korean.
Now you're just making.
Well, we're just talking about We're talking about American breakfast. Okay, yes, American breakfast. I have a hard time with.
No, okay.
But that's a small cuisine.
Can I give you a scenario?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to a Ruth's Chris-like steakhouse. Whatever, Hillstones or something like that. A nice steakhouse. And you really want the gourmet burger.
Yes.
The gourmet burger is bacon and mushrooms and a bacon jam. Okay, a bacon jam. But the cheese is Swiss. And it says no substitution.
I'd do it. Well, first of all, I'd be getting a steak.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying you do get a burger.
The fuck is wrong with me?
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't make the substitution. No.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm wondering.
I would not. No. But I would probably get a steak if we're at the steakhouse.
Okay, shut up.
Uber Eats on me tonight, baby. No, but I would not make the substitution. I would not.
Okay, all right.
Would you?
I wouldn't order a burger.
All right. Okay, salmon, and they say it's in a sauce. What are you doing?
On the side.
Okay. It's a little picky. We won't get into it. I feel a fight brewing on episode 84.
No.
I don't want to go there anymore because we don't need that. But this is like, it's funny. You and I have done a lot of these episodes, right? And the one topic I think that you and I actually get into it a little bit, it's still fun, but is the substitutions, like who's a pickier eater. That's where I get really defensive about that.
I think that when we have our discussion about college eating, I am not a picky eater by choice, is what I will say.
Okay. So what do you mean? By necessity?
Yes, by necessity.
The bare necessity. All right, I feel you. But to answer your question, Alex, we made the customization, so good call. And Taco Bell is all for it, which makes sense. It's because it's not like we're going to a steakhouse and there's a certain way they prepare it, or we're getting the duck or the sushi without the soy sauce.
Can I go over like the options that we have? Like if you
for what?
Like just a random customization. They're pretty much the same for everything.
Okay.
So you can. All right, this is just a default beef taco. Okay, so you have the option of adding on steak or swapping out. Steak.
So you could get beef, add steak?
You can get chicken, add steak, add beans, add Fritos.
Gotcha. Fritos would be fun, though, because of the crunch. I think that'd be good.
Okay, so steak, shredded chicken, seasoned rice, these red strips that are fascinating to me, potatoes, onions, jalapeno peppers, Fritos, chicken. Oh, the other one was shredded chicken. Black beans, which I'm going to have to assume refried beans? I don't know if they're pinto beans. They look like refried beans.
I love a good
three
refried
cheese
bean.
blend. I know I do too, actually. We haven't had those yet. That could be a next week thing. Spicy ranch, nacho cheese, guacamole, avocado ranch.
So basically everything.
Chipotle ranch, Mexican pizza sauce, pico de gallo, red sauce, and then you can make it vegetarian, I guess, if you want.
So you could do it. You could basically do whatever you want in that wrap.
You have, and this one came with lettuce, sour cream, cheese, and tomatoes, which were mentioned. But you could
do whatever the fuck you want.
Make basically like a BLT, like you could do whatever. Right. You can. So that's
so they're famous for being able to make these customizations.
Yeah, it's not like you go to Panera and you say dressing on the side. It's like you can't recreate your salad or your sandwich there. You're just kind of editing it. This is like...
Well, we didn't go full-blown make your own what you would get because it was still kind of in the middle. Would you say that?
Yeah, well, because I wanted
to have some of the authenticity
that we could get. Yeah.
Well, no, I wasn't trying to be condescending with the word. I'm like authenticity.
Well, I can read you exactly what I did.
So we got three items.
Okay.
I don't think we've mentioned yet the items.
Yes. So we tried the chicken quesadilla, but removed the chicken, added steak, and removed the creamy jalapeno sauce, which is default on there.
Did not know that.
That seems weird to me. I've made a lot of quesadillas. Adding a sauce in there is kind of a recipe for a mess. Inside.
Yeah, it could squirt on your face.
Yeah. So then I did the black bean quesarito, which... Something went awry with this one.
It was basically a wrap with beans and rice. I mean, it wasn't...
Yeah. So I removed the sour cream. I removed the nacho cheese.
No, that would have been so bad.
Unless maybe the nacho cheese was in... That's what made the quesadilla part of it.
Yeah.
Because it was very dry.
I would say, though, if that thing squirted out that cheese, I would be puking.
Here's the thing. I said easy on the chipotle sauce, which I didn't even taste, I guess.
Maybe it was in the bean and rice mixture.
And
I don't know.
The cheesy gordita crunch, easy on the cheese, remove the beef, added chicken. That was a swap. And then easy on the spicy ranch, which, let's be honest, did not go easy.
But that ranch was good. It almost tasted like a, what did I say in the review? Or not, it wasn't a review. I did this on the side. I said it tasted like
Oh, tzatziki.
Tzatziki sauce.
No, it tastes like a Greek yogurt sauce.
It was good.
Well, and the funny thing was, one of the things we wanted to talk about was like what we ate in the dorms, and that actually, apropos of nothing, reminded me of something I used to like was one of my default meals in the dorms. That sauce, whatever that was. Mm. So these were like a little more custom to how we'd kind of eat them in general.
And I have to say this, and we got the quesadilla. And I talked about on previous episodes, I couldn't tell you when, where, or how. I love, too, how it's gotten to the point with the podcast where very beginning, I could tell you everything we did. I can't remember anything, and it's all blended together, which I think is a good thing because it means that...
It's more natural, I guess.
It's more natural. We've done a bunch of these. I can't remember. But I do remember talking about, at some point in an episode, that I would get the quesadillas from Taco Bell at Syracuse University. And by the way, to answer, remember I didn't tell you the name of the place? Kimmel Hall. Josh Gutterman, shout out, texted me after he listened to the podcast. He said we would get these at Kimmel Hall. So at Kimmel Hall, I would get what I thought was chicken quesadillas. But today I had a revelation and I realized...
Well, I asked you, I go, was it shredded or regular chicken? You're like, it was steak. I'm like, what?
I guess by you asking about the chicken, if it was shredded or not, it somehow... triggered my head to remember it was steak in there. I don't know where that came from, but it was steak.
So not a you mistake.
Not a
I feel like I don't even know you.
No, I'm good with food memories.
You're good with food memories and like where we were when a certain basketball play happened.
Yeah,
you'll be like, so I just come home from the studio in Charlottesville and you were doing this and this guy hit this 3-pointer and I'm like,
I know.
How do you
I'm not as good at
remember to like take the trash out? But that
I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it was. I used to get the steak quesadilla.
So this was an actual Taco Bell, or was it like people who worked at like?
No, it was a Taco Bell. It was a fast food hall on campus.
Okay.
So the way it worked was you could use cash. They weren't stopping you from using cash.
But you could use your meal.
Or I guess a credit card. But you had a meal card, and on that meal card, it was divided into two sections. It was the certain amount of meals you had per week. So if it was 18 swipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you had points, and a point was like 1 point equaled $1. So if you wanted to go to KFC on your meal plan, and let's say you got the chicken bucket for $7.57, that would be 7.57 points. And it would deduct. So the card had two different ways to go on it. So you had your traditional meal halls with, a dining hall.
Did you get to pick your meal plan each year?
You could modify it. So, for example, let's say you lived off campus and you were a senior and you would you cooked at your own home, you did grocery shopping, but when you were on campus, you would typically go for lunch, for example. Yeah. You could then do like a 7 to 10 meal plan.
Okay. I always did the 10. I think that was actually the lowest you could go.
I my freshman year did the highest.
Yes.
But I can't.
Because you had no other way of getting any type
I didn't have a car. I didn't this was it. And the dining hall was in our dorm.
Oh, okay. Mine was next door.
I don't know. I could not tell you now from freshman to senior year what levels I was doing. My educated guess would be it went down because senior year we lived in something called South Campus, and it was through Syracuse University housing, but it was apartments that they had created where a lot of the athletes lived.
Okay.
So it was like it had a kitchenette, it had a little living situation. There wasn't washer dryer. You had to still go to a different spot.
How many people?
Between 2 and 3 and 4, depending on the size of
What did you have?
I did a 2. We did 2. We did 2, and then 2 that were together with our group of friends.
Okay.
So I probably did less because we did grocery shopping, because it ends up being cheaper.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if I even had a meal plan junior or senior year because I lived in an apartment.
Yeah.
That was basically, I think it was technically on campus, or it was technically just off campus. But yeah, and I definitely cooked. I cooked dinner for myself at least, and I was working full time at the Gap, so there was a lot of not eating on campus, which was fine by me because that campus dining was rough.
And that reminds me, there was a on the South Hill campus. South Hill, I don't remember what the fuck it was. But there was another one of those kind of places that was for student living, and it had a laundromat in it, so that's where the students would go to do their laundry. And it had you could go and you could study there. It had some TVs, and then it had a mini food court, and it had a Burger King in it. But this Burger King, you could get steaks. So I remember one time I don't remember the gist of the bet, and Josh Gutterman will fill me in again because I can't remember any of this shit. But I made Adam Nobler lost a bet, and the winner had to buy the other person a steak. So I don't remember if I bought him or he bought me, but we used the Burger King steak as the default.
Oh, that's...
But it wasn't bad.
Oh, God.
I don't remember who got the steak for who. I don't know if anybody really even cares. This might be a really violently boring story.
No, that's really weird that they had steak.
But they had steaks.
That is really concerning.
But they were good.
Well, I guess when you're in college, you'll eat anything. It's better than ramen.
I mean, it was I think it was like a steak. I can't remember now. I'm going to have the details filled out.
Do you remember how stressful laundry was in college?
Yeah, it sucked.
It was such a to-do.
It was such a to-do.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the ass.
I
hate laundry.
I
still hate laundry.
You haven't touched laundry since
I don't like doing it.
You have not touched laundry since we've been married.
I don't mind. I just don't like. I'm not a good folder. I always get the clothes too wet.
Yeah,
They smell. They have a smell after I do them.
because you leave them in the washing machine all the time. Yeah, so we
wrinkly.
We basically just sort of outsourced any type of laundry. You're not ever touching it. It's not good. Yet you leave them in the respective areas just too long.
Too long.
Yeah. No, laundry was a huge thing in college. You just was like, all right, gotta do it today. And then you had to stay nearby because you don't want people to steal it. And then, so we'd run the bottom of our building, and if you left it in there, people would take it out. And then you got, some guy in your math class, taking your underwear out, you know?
Well, I always thought it was jarring as a freshman doing your laundry. Not because I was all of a sudden I'm an adult, I'm doing laundry. But I was so bad at talking to girls. I didn't have my first kiss till I was 19. It just was a long process, okay? I lost my virginity a couple years later. So talking to girls was not a thing, right? So it weirded me out to be going down to do my laundry, and then I'm like,
bras?
And I'm like, oh my God, there's bras and panties, and I'm like, holy shit! It was a little terrifying.
Oh, wow.
I mean, does that make
no,
coming from my end?
sense. No,
I'm trying to explain when you haven't even talked to a girl.
It would make sense if you had gone to school a year early, but the fact that you were a year late is more concerning.
Wasn't a strength. I came into my own, but it wasn't a strength.
Well, it was just always so weird because you'd 100% of the time. You'd acquire people's stuff and you lose yours. I used to wear this 10K t-shirt from Washington D.C. that I'd never run before, but it ended up in my laundry, and it was I was super duper tiny as a freshman, and I was like, oh well, it's great, this shirt is perfect, and then I got somebody else's. My neighbor was like, can I have that? That'll fit me. And, it's
Side note: this is not laundry, but it reminds me of the Henry Sackler's lunch snafu that happened back in the third grade. Did I ever tell you about this?
Probably.
So
very few of your stories are fresh.
One day, we're going to lunch, and Henry Sackler, a good friend in my class, and we open up our lunches, and I open up my lunch, and I'm like, what? I probably didn't curse. I'm like, what the fuck is in this bag? It was just repulsive, disgusting
1991.
stuff. I'm just disgusting.
What was it?
And I don't remember. But then you hear Henry Sackler going, this is the best lunch of my life. Our lunch is switched.
What did you have?
I had Henry's lunch, which was a disaster.
Did you have gefilte fish or something?
I don't remember. And then Henry had my lunch, which was whatever it was, snacks and sandwiches, and he was so happy. It was the best lunch of his life. Our lunches got swapped.
Did he know? Did you swap back, or did you eat his gross lunch?
I don't remember now. It was a long time ago, Jess. I
don't know.
Now.
You clearly
but that was a big deal. Things you remember in life. So yeah, but I understand your point with laundry. That was the Henry Sackler lunch snafu.
So here's what I wanted to ask you. First of all, maybe you didn't even have this. Duquesne University, not known for their good cuisine. You really had to... You had to be very choosy and picky on things. It was not good. I came home from my freshman year, everyone was like, so you did not gain the freshman 15. I was like, no, it was not a good year for my digestion. And I found the things that worked for me.
Yeah.
very bland.
Yeah.
I would eat a turkey hoagie, very Pittsburgh. Hoagie on a whole wheat. Toasted. And the other one, I guess there were maybe two other things. This was the early 2000s, big on a wrap. Okay, so the upstairs place called Options had wraps.
No options.
No, it actually had very few options.
Of course.
And the pasta guy was really mean, or I would have done it more. He was just so mean. You're like, just a little broccoli, and it was, and you're like, oh god, I don't want to deal with it.
Like a pasta bar?
Yeah, so there was they had stations, basically.
Like marinara, Alfredo,
yes,
vodka,
and then there was, oh god, and
homemade pesto.
I am
grinding
sure
it on the side.
Whatever their world cuisine was just definitely not PC for today's day and age. Something horrible that I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But what I would get is a chicken wrap with fajita vegetables and a big tortilla. But my main one, and this is what reminded me of what we had today.
Right.
They would do these salad wraps. I don't know, it's a bizarre concept. So they have this giant pita, and they would put a salad in the middle of it, whatever dressing, whatever toppings, whatever proteins, and then they would wrap it up like just a fucking huge burrito because it was a salad.
That sounds great.
That was my go-to. That was my most common thing. And the dressing, one of the dressings they had, totally tasted exactly like that. I am sure this was a calorie bomb, but it's okay because all of us were losing weight eating at Duquesne because there was a joke they put laxatives in the food, and I think we all paid for it. No one was walking out of there fat. Food was terrible. I don't know. So that was those were kind of my go-tos. I never did the dining hall where they would just have the meal of the day.
Right.
My friends would do that a lot. I didn't like that crapshoot. I'm a little more adventurous now. Maybe I would try it, but...
See, with those, I love that idea.
Okay.
I get excited about that.
Oh, yeah, they'd be like...
Ooh, it's the chicken piccata, let's go. I get all into that.
Yeah, not me.
I was lucky my freshman year, Brewster Hall was the dining hall extension onto... I think it was called Brewster. I've got all these names, whatever. But people would go far and wide to come to our dining hall. We were known to have one of the best dining halls in the university.
I feel like I've actually heard that before.
It was very good. A really good salad bar. Shout out to Jean Stevens. She would take the Rice Krispies from the cereal bar and then take the marshmallows from the ice cream bar and put it together and made homemade Rice Krispie treats on the side. Shout out to Jean Stevens. I remember her doing that.
That is
amazing.
Which is amazing. The greatest part, so what I was talking about where I always got dinner was the two kind of food courty things, but then there was the classic dining hall that had just the wall of cereal. God. And the ice cream, the self-serve ice cream machine.
I know, it's crazy.
How are we not 1,000,000 pounds? I did gain 10 pounds.
I think it's just because our metabolisms are different. We're moving around. My sophomore year, I lived in Shaw Hall. In this place, they would do a Asian stir-fry bar, on Tuesdays, where they would you pick your protein, chicken, beef, shrimp, pick your sauce, General Tso's, sesame Hawaiian.
Oh God, this is
Then they add noodles, broccoli, and me and Soviezeth would get it to go, and it would just be, and then on the side you got spring rolls, egg rolls, and this container was just overflowing. And I remember we loved doing this. We'd have our 8:30 a.m. class. We'd have our classes, which then felt so early. We'd go back from class, get those sandwiches. We would then watch, or get those Asian meals that we'd put together, and we would then watch
this was a lunch?
Family Feud.
Oh, man.
That was a big thing for us. Freshman year, everybody would get together and watch Family Feud. Now I'm thinking of names I haven't thought of in a while. And Tony Marialillo, something. We fell in love with this woman named Bubbles who won. This was the time. Looking back on this, I'm like, holy shit, this sounds great.
I know. We had so much time in college.
I know. So much time. And now with all my college education, loan over, all I do is do an Uber Eats life. I don't need to even go to college for all this.
I mean,
life is weird.
The funny thing is, I went to all of the college. I don't know if I really needed to do that for what I do either. I mean, truly, I went to basically as much college as you can do.
It's kind of funny when you think about it.
You definitely didn't need to go to Syracuse.
I mean, it helped me get it helps like reputation-wise to get jobs and shit when you say you went to Syracuse. But I can't tell you that.
For what?
But I can tell you that, I don't know, life's a journey, and it took us each to different places we are now. And you can't substitute those experiences. But you're right. Yes, I probably didn't need it to be an Uber Eats podcaster.
Well, I think what's just interesting is we really hit college maybe at the most expensive. I mean, it's definitely gone up a little bit since then, but there's going to have to be a bubble at some point that bursts.
I mean, it's just absurd.
Like, I mean, I think if our kid goes to college, it's like, it'll be $700,000 a year at this point. It's like,
right,
oh my
God.
Well,
then at that point, why would you go? I mean, you can take your whole life to just get there.
Get a job in the trades, make a shit ton of money, then, like, not waste.
I mean, Ryan delivers. I had a thought, too, when you're delivering Ryan.
Have we talked about this on the podcast? That was Patreon.
Whoops. Well, if you want to know our son's name, the Patreon has the
told you a while ago.
The Patreon told you. I fucked that up. I'm sorry. Well, at some point, everybody's going to know. We can't be like, we've got our son, and his name is, and we can bleep it, like it sounds like you're cursing. But
that's okay. That's too much work.
I have some ideas, like, if Mike Delivers is the name of the podcast, when you're delivering, we got to do something.
We'll go live.
I don't know if we want to go
Just
live.
Delivers? I don't think we want to go live.
I mean, we don't know if we need to see, like, stuff all over the place, but there needs to be some sort of connection. And yes, Jess, you're holding the cat, and he's very cute. There needs to be some sort of, like, Mike Delivers a baby. But we got to have some fun in the hospital.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna bring. I'm bringing the podcast equipment.
I'm leaving that to you.
We're doing a podcast in the hospital. I think that'd be kind of fun.
That works for me.
Yeah, right now we're taking the time out. Live discussion as the cat is trying to step on our laptop that has all the audio going. So,
anyway, I wanted to ask what your go-tos were.
So my go-tos were, I remember there being a pasta bar, and I remember that stir-fry bar being like my favorite thing in the whole world.
Were they in the same like facility?
Yeah, I think they would rotate it in and out, and then it was just I think it would be like, one night would be roasted chicken and, chicken breasts, or burger night. It was just like typical shit. I don't really remember. It's funny because I must have had millions of meals there, but you can't remember, which is a weird. It's weird, right?
Well, I think I pretty much had.
But I remember I remember that stir fry bar, and I remember some of the dining halls that I would eat at my junior and senior year, like the Kimmel Hall. But I feel like junior and senior year didn't do as much dining hall. It was more like the side ones and then my own kind of cooking. My senior year of college, Jess, is when I got into cooking, by the way. I know that I enjoy it. I like doing it a lot. Cooking. My senior year is when I got into it. And I think it's because I was like, you're telling me I can open up a beer and cook and relax? That relaxed me. Like, I've always been a little anxious at stuff. Opening up a beer, cooking a chicken parm, and just like to me, that was the greatest night ever.
I started cooking in the junior and senior year when I had a kitchen.
Yeah.
But it was, it was the tiniest kitchen. Oh, these ovens they gave us, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it before. It was a half oven. So it had 2 units. And you could fit like a skinny baking sheet in. But that was about it. Like, I mean, like maybe a roasting pan in sideways. So there's a lot of George Foremaning.
Yes.
So I would make a lot of
George Foremaning.
Yeah, it's a verb. A lot of tilapia.
Okay.
And I would season it with fun stuff, and I would like put sweet potatoes in the oven. It wasn't very much. And then when I got to UVA, and I had a huge 2-bedroom apartment to myself, big kitchen, I was like, I'm gonna learn how to fucking cook, and I did. And I think I'm a pretty good cook now.
You're a great cook now. I don't think you get enough credit for how good of a cook you've become.
I like cooking.
And I probably take it for granted.
Well, I was going to say, I like cooking for my parents, and your parents were like, holy shit, you're amazing. You're just like, oh, thanks.
I was like, oh, this is a little dry tonight, Jess. You could have had a little more salt, but we'll work on it. No, I'm very thankful.
No, you are definitely. But I just think you're just getting used to it at this point. But anytime I cook
used to it in a good way.
Somebody else, they always get excited. But yeah, that was very liberating. I mean, you kind of felt like a quasi-adult, but you're like, there's still other people are making your food. And then when you have that kitchen, it's like...
Yeah, well, my biggest problem was not as much, but it was then, like when I cooked, it wasn't like, oh, let me just make this real quick. It was like a 7-hour extravaganza.
When we met, you were like that too. I mean, I remember
everything was a production.
Like, you couldn't use like a good jar of sauce to make chicken parm. You had to like blanch the what am I trying to say? Tomatoes.
Yes.
you would like
peel the.
You cut the X on the bottom, boil the tomatoes, peel them off, puree them. It would be like there would be an entirely full dishwasher and sink, and there's pasta sauce everywhere, and you just made chicken parm for one.
I know. I get a little too into. Well, there was a Guy Fieri.
Cookbook.
There was a chicken parm recipe that he did, and that's where he pureed the sauce, but he would bake the chicken and then do the cheese and then add the sauce on top of the chicken once it was baked, and that was the pureed sauce. And I remember when I did that, the cap flew off for the blender and sauce went all over the fucking place. I remember that. That was definitely in Charlotte.
Do you remember you made me some like chicken thigh rice thing?
Oh, that was good.
Early on.
It was chicken and potatoes, and it was a slow cook recipe with the chicken. It would fall off the bone. That was fucking good.
Yeah,
that was great.
Well, you used to make like gourmet meals in like the middle of the day because you worked like a morning shift and a night shift.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
You would
I do. You would like come home and
I always had all this energy to do shit.
You'd make like a weird dinner at like 11:30.
Yeah, I know. Strange kid. But it's cute.
Yeah. No, you never made that again. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I've made that twice. That was good. That was very good. It was cheap too because the chicken was cheap, but then you would have to get like brown sugar, raisins,
and
the chicken would fall off. The chicken would fall off the fucking bone.
Yeah, that was like date 3 or something for us.
I think that was from like a guy named Rocco. Is there a Rocco guy in the Food Network?
Rocco Despirito.
I think that was his recipe.
Okay, I can see
He's
that.
He's like, yeah, my mama like this.
Well, I was going to say, he's like obsessed with his mom. So that
and
makes
I was like,
sense.
oh, this is a good deal. I think this guy wants to bang his mom, but fuck it. The chicken looks nice.
I watch him on anything, not mention his mom. You will be stunned.
So I was I was on a date and I was texting my mom.
Thinking about my mom.
Shut the fuck up. Pay attention to the girl. But anyway, the chicken was fantastic.
His mom's like 115, by the way.
Okay, now I'm going to feel bad because you're going to go, his mom has this.
No, I just think she's super old. Well, okay, so here's the question.
Would I have sex with Rocco's mom? Yeah, the answer's yes.
Probably yes.
What's the question?
How did the chicken steak quesadilla hold up?
Oh, so now we want to get into the actual podcast. No more about moms we want to bang.
Well.
It was...
Or soon-to-be moms?
It was... True. Oh, you?
No. That was up for interpretation, apparently.
It was... It wasn't as good as I remembered it, but it was... Yeah, that's the guy.
And that's his mom.
She's kind of cute.
We're about the same height.
Hey, that's you in 70 years. I'm game. I'm going to look like him. It wasn't as good as I remembered, but it was a lot fucking better than everything I've tried the last 3 weeks with this shit.
Yeah, I feel like they really...
I'll tell you this. The steak wasn't bad.
I will tell you.
The steak wasn't bad at all.
The steak wasn't bad, and I don't even like steak.
And I have to be critical here because your brother said the steak's terrible. I don't think that steak was that bad. Well, I did
ask him specifically for a taco. And, I mean, maybe it's more like unadulterated, but by the same token, the amount of meat they put in a taco is so sad that I don't even know if I could be offended by it.
No, I know. And you know me. I love Andrew, and I respect his food opinion. But we're going to talk about the Taco Bell meat. I thought that was better than any other meat that we had so far, Jessica.
Interesting. Well, we're going to have to we'll do a Patreon with him pretty soon, probably.
Yes,
we'll have to have your reckoning then.
Yes, that'll be a good debate. In life right now, seems very nice and a good distraction.
Yes, a nice distraction that we're fortunate to even have.
All right, so do you want to get into these items then? And we'll get a little review going?
I think I fucked up the quesarito just by saying
I don't know what we ate.
Well, because I thought it was a quesadilla wrapped like a burrito. When I said no nacho cheese, I just meant in the burrito.
Yeah.
I think I fucked that up.
Okay.
But I liked it.
Okay, so we had a steak quesadilla. What else do we have?
We had the black bean quesarito. I know, these names are so challenging.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe I brought this up. Quesarito.
Burrito. And then the cheesy gordita crunch. Which I have to say, if that was light on the ranch,
I don't think it was.
No. I would have really liked it.
Also, like these names, when you read them out loud, I'm expecting them to be these like innovations in cooking, and then I'm like,
it's a taco wrap.
Oh, so you're telling me it's a hard taco wrapped in a fucking soft taco? Oh my god, you're like genius. I don't know. I'm expecting to see something I've never seen before, so that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Well, so there are like entire areas of science who people kind of do what I do as like a molecular biologist, but they go into like the sensory biology. So like they'll do tastes and they'll work for a company like this.
Right.
And I'm fascinated by this. Like, so they will work with a company to like manufacture a new flavor, for example.
Oh, wow.
And then, so you have people on like that level that are like, all right, let's make this. Okay, let's take a Dorito, let's take a hard taco, we're going to make it as Dorito-y as possible, that kind of a thing. And then you have other, like, more sensory labs where you have people basically test tasting different combos of things.
Right,
and then
this works or doesn't
get,
work.
like, you get, like, the ratings of, like, this is gross or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just truly fascinated by this. Like, the food sciences.
I see, like, I thought the Frito idea to me sounds the best out of everything, to give it a little crunch. That sounds the most appealing to me.
I know, we have to figure out...
I like a Frito.
We have to figure out something to do for the next one. So the theme on this one was supposed to be... I fucked up the quesarito. Was supposed to be...
It's fine, Jess.
No, it was supposed to be cheese stuffed items. So it's supposed to be a quesadilla. The cheesy gordita crunch is stuffed with cheese. And then the quesarito, but...
What's left? We've done dessert and sodas, which you can find on the Patreon page. What do we need to do? What is left? So on the Patreon page, we had 2 different drinks and 2 different desserts, which again, on the Patreon page, it's $4 a month. If you want to take the plunge, and if it doesn't hurt your bank account, please do it. A lot of good content on there. Videos, food reviews, pantyhose, the whole deal.
We haven't done any Power Bowls, which is like a healthy version. Yeah. We haven't done any chalupas. We haven't done nachos Bel Grande.
So there's still some.
We haven't done the spicy tostada, which people have definitely suggested.
Okay, so there's still some fun things to try.
We haven't done the beefy Fritos burrito.
Oh, that. Okay.
All right, now I'm talking. Yeah, that's getting close to being it.
Still a shit ton of shit.
Yeah, I think we can do some last, like, specialty items.
Okay.
This is definitely a good place to pick. If we pick somewhere more expensive, it would be quite a
No, it's been super cheap. That's for sure.
Super cheap. This one was a little more expensive because when you swap out the default meat, there's always
a surcharge.
Yeah, like... if you have chicken, you add steak,
right.
That kind of a thing. But it's not that bad.
But it's not terrible. No, it's not that expensive. Okay, so you want to get to the actual taste, the testing, the reviews? It's the scoring is 0 out of 10, 0 the worst, 10 the best, in half increments. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Okay, you get the idea. I got the move along. It's based out of 2017 Toyota Rav4s, the car I drive for Uber Eats. 10 the best, 0 the worst. We got 3 categories, okay? The 3 categories are takeout presentation, heat factor, how well did the food stay heated from the Uber Eats driver or Jess and myself's drive from the restaurant to our kitchen where we are sampling the food. And then, of course, the all-famous taste, which is very original. Nobody's done a food taste testing on a podcast or ever.
And ranked taste.
This is innovative, okay? So you're welcome. All right, Jessica, which one would you like to start with? The steak quesadilla, the black bean quesarito,
assume in the order when we tried them.
Okay, so we tried the steak quesadilla first. Takeout presentation. It reminded me of college. This was exactly how I saw it. It was the same case. It was the perfectly sized for a quesadilla. It had some parts where you could see through, some parts where you saw the Taco Bell logo and imaging. And to me, I gave it a 9 because it reminded me back of college. And I was like, there was something nostalgic about seeing the wrapping done the same way. And I was like, you know what, Taco Bell? It's been 14 years since I've graduated college, and you haven't been able to enhance the quesadilla wrapping, not because you're lazy and don't know a better way, but because you've perfected it and because you know the way to do it, and I loved it. I give it a 9 on the takeout presentation. Jessica, how about yourself?
I'm going to give it an 8.
Ooh, okay.
I loved the window in. I feel like more food should have that.
This is why I need to go second, because you have these great terms. The window in. Who came up with that? Is that a you thing?
Well, you could see what it looked like. Like last week when we had it was a chicken taco, and they were like, they looked like they put their hand in the chicken taco and they wrapped it up, and there was like thumbprints with chicken all over it. Like,
yeah.
I feel like this forces a little integrity for people who are making shit real fast. Like, so fast. By the way, I did put the order in the app. Had to do the drive-thru again. There was no option for pickup.
Interesting.
No one was at pickup either. So, and the line was...
That just might be the way we always have to do it.
First of all, the line was so long that I had to go down the street, turn around, so I could get on the right side of the street and, like, kind of jump in line.
I have a good question. Then maybe we'll save this for another episode, but I'll just bring it up here, and then you can go from there. From May, from the sandwiches, to June, with the Taco Bell that we've tried, if there's one of your favorites, if we were on the side of the road that you would want to go to if you found out we had. Don't answer now.
Okay.
Just think about that for later. All right?
Okay, all right.
Just think about that for later. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we've done that. We'll speed this up a little bit because we got a bunch here. Steak quesadilla heat factor.
Are we doing looks all the way across?
You want to do looks all the way across?
I don't know. That's what we've been doing. I don't care.
Okay, I don't remember. That's the truth. I don't remember. Okay. Black bean quesarito.
But then we do taste all at the end at the same time.
She knows what she's doing, people. She's a tough producer. She's tough. NBC, CBS, ABC, they all want her. But no, she's on the Mike Delivers podcast talking about quesaritos. The next thing we had was the cheesy gordita crunch.
Yes.
That was second. Again, Taco Bell killing it with the takeout presentation. It reminds me of like Marty McFly and Back to the Future 2 with this cool ass hoverboard. Like when I looked at the takeout presentation, it's got funky colors, it's cool, it's in a cool wrapping, it's not plain or boring. I give the cheesy gordita crunch an 8.5. Very happy with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. It had cute wrapping. It had like the
and
it had so it was like a metal, like more of aluminum foil wrapping. And when you unwrapped it, it looked just like the picture. I love when that happens.
Yes,
because so many times it looks completely unidentifiable as the picture. Yep. It really did look exactly like it. And so there was obviously good integrity. Like that Mexican pizza, cute container, but you open it up and you're like, like what happened?
Murder! Get on the murder! No, it was gross.
It was disgusting. But yeah, so that was a pleasant surprise.
Steak quesadilla, black bean quesarito. This one didn't have as much flair as the other two, in my opinion. Still not bad, but not as fancy. I go with a 7.0.
I was also going to go with the 7.0.
You copying me?
If this had like a waxy paper, tissuey paper kind of wrap.
It just seemed the most generic to me.
Yes.
They're still good.
And it was cute when you opened it up, but it was tiny. It was kind of like, it wasn't like a burrito should be kind of the same width all the way top to bottom. This one kind of had like it was not straight. Yes. It had like a pear shape to it.
Steak quesadilla. Heat factor here. The cheese got cold quick. It wasn't like icy, but I'm also not happy that they didn't cook all the cheese all the way through, but that's for taste, I guess. It got cold quick. Not bad, but not where I would want it to be, which was surprising because the bag was really hot.
That was really hot.
So why was the bag
hot? What was so hot in there?
So explain this to me, America. Why was the bag hot, but the food wasn't? What the fuck was that about?
No, it really was. The bottom of the bag was so hot. It was just a brown paper bag.
So heat factor 5.5.
Okay, so I have a different perspective on this for the heat. I'm going to give it a 4. Because I don't think it was ever heated enough to begin with.
God, you're good. God, you're good.
I know. Let's call me Dr. Burrito or Quesadilla.
Dr. B, Dr. Q, Dr. QBC.
The cheese was not melted enough.
No.
Because you could still see the cheese strength. Some of it was, but not all of it. And with a quesadilla, it's like 60 seconds. I can wait that long. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Like, to be honest, I'm going to finish off the steak quesadilla a little bit later for lunch tomorrow.
There's a 100% chance you're, like, heating that for a good while.
But I'm going to reheat it.
That's what I'm saying.
And this is the heat factor dilemma that we've come up with since we've been doing all this shit. But I definitely think once it's reheated, I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
Okay, so you went low. What did you say, a 4?
Just because it was never properly heated. Like
not usually are we. Usually I give the lower score on heat. This is odd. This is a big deal.
I make a lot of quesadillas. And I was like, you know what, you can do better than this.
No, I agree completely. Cheesy gordita crunch, same deal. It just was whatever.
Well, this was one of those weird hot and cold, because it had like cold lettuce and tomato and cheese on it.
Yeah, but it was just, it's hard. And honestly, just giving the scores on the heat factor are hard for this, because it's not like you open up a dinner and there's your chicken and mashed potatoes.
Well, and you can't heat it all up.
So the shells aren't hot to begin with. So basically, the only thing hot in there is the actual protein and the meat. The cheese isn't hot. Like, how do you even fucking score this? Like, I don't know.
Is it the correct temperature?
I mean, if that's the case, then maybe the score should be better. I mean, the quesadilla is one thing because it's melted cheese. But if you're going to have something where 90% of the item isn't heated up,
well, I think
how the fuck do you do that?
I just think it's the appropriateness of what it should be.
So with that being said, with the cheesy gordita crunch, I don't even remember the meat. What was the meat in there? I don't even remember eating the chicken.
Straight up chicken.
I don't even remember the chicken. I'll go with a 7 with the heat then, because everything was done right, I guess.
Yeah, I would say I was going to go like 7 as well, because it's like what is the other thing we had? The Crunchwrap Supreme. It's the same thing. You can't chuck a Crunchwrap Supreme in the oven to heat it up, because there's like a salad on top. So
right.
That's where it kind of has to be at the right temperature. And I will say, I was very hungry the night we got the Crunchwrap Supreme.
Uh-oh.
I did eat some in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep.
Oh, they were going to say that changed your...
It was super gross cold. And I loved it when we had it.
But it was nasty Jones.
When that nacho cheese was cold, no, it was not good at all. I mean, and I'm talking it was like chilly. It was right out of the fridge at 1 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, at least you're being honest with the audience about what you're saying here. Okay. Now we've got the black bean quesarito. Heat factor, just going on what was inside of that. This, to me, I feel like could have had the most heat. I guess because they heated up the beans, but it was kind of bland and dry. I go with or cold. I went with a 5. There just wasn't. It was just there. There wasn't much heat when I bit into it. I didn't have to like worry about burning my mouth. I mean,
I'm going to give it a 6 because I think it's hard to tell because I kind of got rid of all the things that are like the heat.
But that's what was in there, Jess. I mean, that's what was in there.
Yeah, it was like it could have been warmer, but it wasn't offensive to me.
All right, taste now. Steak quesadillas. As I mentioned before, this was my go-to item in college at the Kimmel Hall. First off, I noticed when I did the food review video, if you want to see that, head over to Mike Delivers Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mike Delivers Pod. I opened up a piece out of the bag, and the fourth piece that was cut, there was like no meat in it or cheese. It was basically like everything got shifted to the right. So I discarded that one and then took a bite, and it did kind of remind me of college. Maybe like seeing the bag, it brought me back to a different place. It was. If I did not have this in college, I would have given it a lower score. But because it brought me back to a feeling of comfort, and I like that, the cheese could have been more melted. That goes without saying. There were strands that weren't fully melted. There was a crisp on some of the shells, but not all of them. So some of them were floppy, some of them were crispy. And if you have a good quesadilla, you want that crunch. The crunch was terrible. Now that I think back, like if you think of a good quesadilla and you get that nice crunch, very floppy. But the steak, I thought was the star of the quesadilla. That steak was excellent. So all of that combined, I went with a 6.5. But for me, being skeezed out by cheese and the whole concept of it, I thought that was pretty good of a score.
I am going to give it a 7.
Okay.
It was, again, it's all about perspective, and the taste was actually better than I expected. Like the actual taste of it was better, but it did remind me of the tacos from last week where they're really generous on those shells, really skimpy on the fillings. Because it really, even the parts that were full didn't go all the way to the edge. Like, not even close. Like, it was probably 2/3, maybe that's being generous, like actually touching anything like meat or cheese. So I just feel like it was a little skimpy, but it tasted good. I think if it had that jalapeno ranch in there, it would have been really gross and gooey.
Or it could have been delicious. And I want to bring that out because I've mentioned this guy's name a few times, but Andrew Borick, who I had on the podcast from Lunchbox, he wrote this like fucking 18 miles.
We should like take his lead for next week, to be honest.
He said that here this is of the top suggestions I'd like to add. Chicken quesadilla, my go-to choice. There's a creamy chipotle sauce in it that I remake from scratch at home all the time.
Wow.
That's all my blah, 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 blah. So, he loves it. He makes the fucking sauce from home redone.
Send me that.
That's crazy.
Send me that email. We need to take some investigation on
Okay,
this.
we can do that. I mean, that's just crazy. I was thinking about that. Okay. Cheesy gordita crunch taste. This I was scared to bite into. And I was scared, but the ranch sauce was actually really good. I said in the video, or I said when I ate it, not in the video, this tastes kind of like a tzatziki. So I again went with another 6.5. Not skeezed out after the first bite, actually craved more.
It was the only one I took 2 bites of.
2-bite Jess, they call you.
That's what they call me. No, they definitely don't, because that was just like the only thing I did have 2 bites of. I didn't really know what this was. I liked it. I'm giving it an 8. It surprised me. Even looking at it, I was like, I had an idea of what it would taste like, and then it tasted better than what I thought.
Yes. Okay.
So I would have tasted better than what I thought. So I think that's like that's the view of a good item. But what the hell was that? Like, wrap on the outside.
It wasn't.
It was not a tortilla. Was it like a pita?
It tasted more pita-y. It was doughy.
It was doughy. That was my only change. It needed to be like less doughy, more something else.
The problem with all these items, if you get them the way they are, there's so many things in them. I don't think you get like, I don't know what you're tasting. It's like a combination of crap.
Well, I think it's the whole idea.
But like it's too much. It's like it's a burger that has a chicken finger that has a lobster on it. It's like, no, you just separate them.
Well, I think
why do we have to eat them all at the same time?
Part of them is that maybe it's like not the highest quality stuff, so it's kind of like a combination of flavors. That was I liked the concept of it. That was the thing. I just was like, wait, am I eating a pita all of a sudden?
It was strange.
That was out of left field. But honestly, it tasted very good, and I did have a second bite.
Black bean quesarito taste. This to me was the best of the bunch, and it's because there was no. It was again my favorite 2 items that I've had at Taco Bell have been the vegetarian,
minus the steak quesadilla.
Minus the steak. No, I mean this was better than the steak quesadilla. I mean it just was like the beans are okay, but I didn't eat it and I didn't feel weird. I didn't get anxiety eating it. And to me, that's worthy of a 7.5. The rice was fine. The shell was, the soft tortilla was fine. They actually got a decent crisp on this one, which I thought was good. So 7.5 for the black bean quesarito, which really was just a black bean rice wrap.
Yeah, it definitely was exactly that. There was some chipotle sauce in there. I really wanted to try another vegetarian item because they're so big for their vegetarian and vegan options. I really like the black beans. Like,
if you got the black beans and potatoes, that's not bad.
No, like if I've actually thought about this, like with your question. Yeah. Well, let me give my rating first. I'm gonna give it a 7. I felt like it was a little dry.
Oh, I didn't think that
because we took away all of the saucy items.
That at all.
I think if it had, I would have liked would have been melted cheese inside of it. No, maybe not on the outside.
That would have worked. That would have worked in there.
Like a burrito.
That would have worked. I agree.
I would have really liked that.
That would have worked really well.
But I've had like also, and we actually just talked about this, was it yesterday? That I had a black bean burrito experience once that like, I'm good on black.
In Charlottesville?
Yeah.
At, what was the place called? The Baja
Bean?
Was it Baja Bean?
I don't think it was. Maybe it was. Anyway, I had a black bean burrito the day before running a half marathon. That was like the worst decision I've like ever made in my life. So, no, it was Baja Bean, which is now closed, I learned. Yeah.
No, I wink.
Baja.
Just me and you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh, not on camera? Darn it. Thank God we're not on camera right now. Yeah, no, don't ever do a black bean burrito before running a half marathon. That's just like putting that out to everybody. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right, a 7 for Jess. So
but I definitely was. This is what I was gonna say, and I don't know if this answers your question. That if we pulled off an exit and we do have a road trip coming up soon, and I have to pee approximately every hour right now, we have a lot of stops.
Yeah, so do I. So it's good.
Well, you've always had to do it, and I always didn't let you.
Weak bladder.
So.
My sister, by the way, the exact opposite.
Of you? Mm-hmm. I'm the same way.
She pees 0 times a day.
I'm a once to twice a dayer until I hit the 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and now it is all the time.
We should keep track of who pees more. The pregnant wife?
Still definitely you. There's no way.
Okay, let's not keep track.
How many people... okay, anyway, we went to the beach last week. You peed way more times than I did. I peed 0 times. You peed like 3 times.
Sorry, I got a weak bladder.
Anyway... If we were
yes.
stopped on a road stop and we had to get Taco Bell, I think I'd get like 2 black bean, or maybe like a black bean, a refried bean, like soft taco.
I think I would too.
Or
I would get the steak taco, no cheese.
Steak taco, no cheese. Oh yeah, okay, so the cheese is cold. Yeah, I get that.
But the steak I thought was not terrible.
No, I mean, if I was making like an actual meal out of it, I'd probably get like 2 tacos, maybe just put some fun like sauces or sides on it. Because I am kind of a condiment whore, so I enjoy like a sauce and everything. So yeah, you're laughing. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because I have the next part of this podcast ready.
Okay.
So I mentioned it before. Well, we'll put a bow on the. Sorry for smiling at this idea, but. We'll put a bow on that. That's our another Taco Bell food review. We've got one more coming up next week. And then we have to figure out I guess we know. Not one more. We have a bunch more. We have 2 more weeks in June coming up.
Oh my God, are you doing this again where you get confused what day it is?
What day is it? It's June 15th, 14th. We've got 2 more.
We have 2 more.
We have 2 more. We have to do one in Pittsburgh, I guess, then, right?
I don't know. I guess we'll figure
that out. Okay, but something new that I've added to the podcast.
I think we need to do Permanis or something very Pittsburghy for the Patreon.
Agree. Something I've added to the podcast now is Yum or Yuck, which you officially came up with.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I forgot about this.
All right, good. So Yum or Yuck, if you're new to the podcast, it's very new to me, is I find an item, a section on a menu that is part of like a chain restaurant. For example, we did the Olive Garden last week. On the Patreon page, my wife and I just did the Cracker Barrel entrees. So what the deal is here is you have to pick an entree that you would like number 1 would love to get, and then it would be like a death sentence. Like, oh no, I don't want to even come close to that. So Olive Garden last week, and then as I mentioned before on the Patreon page from last week, it was the Cracker Barrel. So today, Jess, you have no idea what I'm about to say.
No idea.
Today we are doing appetizers from the Red Lobster.
Okay.
Not entrees, appetizers. So just this way we could spread it out because we could go back and do the Red Lobster again. Would you like to hear the appetizer options?
Yes.
Okay, here's what you can get. You could get the lobster and lagostino pizza, the Parrot Isle jumbo coconut shrimp, the Lagostino lobster artichoke and seafood dip. Hold on. The white wine and roasted garlic mussels. Then the always classic mozzarella cheese sticks. And the seafood stuffed mushrooms. Which one is your yum and which one is your yuck? Do you want me to... I can read the items.
Can I see them?
No. Let me read to you some that it might be... I don't need to read to you what cheese sticks are. But let me read to you the lobster and lagostino pizza. Maine lobster meat, lagostino. Norway lobster, melted mozzarella, fresh tomatoes, and sweet basil.
I do. There is a very classic, like, cooking concept of, like, no cheese and seafood together.
So let me read to you
You know
these.
who would disagree with me and does? My father. Loves it.
Let me read to you the Lagostino lobster, artichoke, and seafood.
Yeah, that one might be...
So you got Lagostino and Norway lobster, seafood artichoke, and spinach in a 3-cheese blend served with tortilla chips. And then the seafood stuffed mushrooms, signature seafood stuffing, and Monterey Jack cheese. Ooh. Ooh.
Wait, am I not? Okay, all right.
I'm having severe anxiety on the yuck.
I am going to... Oh my gosh. I thought this would be easy because I love seafood.
I did too.
Okay, it's gonna have to be the dip. The Langostino lobster artichoke and seafood dip. I like... Yeah. A dip like that, like a crab dip... me out.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
All right. Are you doing your yuck or should I do my yum?
Give your yum. Cheese sticks.
I want to say something about cheese sticks real quick. Once we move to this area, like, people don't typically do, unless it's a chain restaurant, like a frozen cheese stick. Like, you get like real mozzarella or something, and they're really good. Yeah, this makes me never, ever, ever want to order one of these like things again.
Yeah, but you know you're gonna at least get what you're gonna get with it.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the white wine and roasted garlic mussels on a caveat. It does make me a little nervous that it's Red Lobster. If this were a, like, family-owned restaurant, I'd be like, absolutely, let's do the mussels.
I'm sure that to me is the easiest to make.
But I just finished a book 2 nights ago about mussel farmers, and they were talking about, like, this disease. I mean, it was a rom-com book. But they were talking about this, like, disease you can get if they don't close all the way. You know what I'm talking about? And so now I feel, like, a little skeeved out by, like, just by, like, a Red Lobster. Like, what's their quality control? Are they, like, tapping the lobster, or the little mussels, make sure they close? Are they de-bearding them? By
the way, the appetizers here are bizarre. Very cheesy.
Yeah, this is not what I expected
I'm surprised how cheesy honestly, Jess...
If you had me guess...
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 6 appetizers have cheese in them?
You know what I would have thought it would have been, honestly? Was more like a fisherman's platter kind of a thing. Like clam bellies or... I don't know. Yeah, something that's... It is weird. Because lobster and cheese are, like, kind of...
It's just... because people are... Whatever.
Yeah.
It's Red Lobster. Sorry. What I would get is easy. This is, like, the easiest. It's the jumbo coconut shrimp. Fried shrimp. I mean, like, it's going to be. I guess
I'm just surprised that there's not more fried seafood on it.
I talk about how I'd eat fried seafood at Friendly, so I can't then make fun of Red Lobster. That's easy. The debate is which one would I not get. Right now I'm between the seafood stuffed mushrooms and the artichoke dip. So let's just read.
Oh, really? The pizza's not up there? Because the pizza was my second.
The pizza doesn't get me.
But no, it didn't sound bad. That picture is disgusting. That picture looks horrible.
No, I'll tell you why. It's because it's mozzarella, cheese, and lobster. So that doesn't weird me out. I
think that's enough. I think you just
But the seafood stuffed mushrooms, signature seafood stuffing, and Monterey Jack cheese.
And you know what that is? That's just like the shittiest of all seafood, like, stirred together.
I'm probably with you then. It's probably the Lagostino lobster, artichoke, and seafood dip. Because a 3-cheese blend and spinach, that's the one.
I always hate...
That's the one.
Was it last night we were talking about work dinners?
Don't know.
I know, okay. At some point we talked about... We did the Patreon last night. Like, I don't know what it was. We talked about work dinners. And man, that, like, discussion of appetizers... Oh, I think we were talking about eating off people's plates. And at work dinners, that happened all the time. First of all, dips should just go by the wayside at this point with the coronavirus. Because they're disgusting. And they always have been. This is not like a new revelation. We're just being cognizant of it. But yeah, I never liked when somebody was like, let's get this spinach artichoke dip from, like, Olive Garden. You're like, no.
I could have been really cruel to you and said, we're doing the soups.
Oh, no. What are
New England clam chowder, cup bowl. Or no, actually, no, it's lobster. Never mind, it would have sucked. That was 4 soups.
Have we discussed my...
We could do the kids' meal.
Have we discussed my hatred for soup on
No,
this?
we're not doing it now. We'll do it another time.
Fuck, we could do a whole hour on my
We could do a debate.
Soup.
We could do a whole thing on soup.
Hate soup.
We could do a whole thing. We could do celebration date night deals. The Admiral celebration. Anyway, okay, so that's your Red Lobster yum or yuck. Let me know.
I'm also
yes.
surprised that they only had 6 items.
Yeah.
On the appetizer.
Yeah. Here's what I'm surprised they don't have. You ready?
I'm ready.
Fried calamari.
Oh, yeah.
Frozen, bag it, fry it.
Yeah.
Odd.
That is, I don't know. That seems super limited.
That's a weird one. That July, it's a far away, and it's a pain in the ass, and it's expensive. But how about this? If y'all fund the Patreon page, we will do Red Lobster and some of those dishes we just described. Go to Mike Delivers on Patreon, and not only for $4, it's not like you're just donating money. You're getting a whole catalog of this bullshit again, like hundreds of these fucking things. There's more of it, so that's an incentive for everybody.
Well, I think that'll be interesting because, like, I love seafood, but shitty seafood. Does that make
tough.
It worse?
That's a tough one. All right, so that's been the Taco Bell day for the 3 items. I put my phone away. You know what they were. Also, everybody, thank you so much for downloading this bad boy. 5-star rating. Leave a comment. And also, we're closing in on 100. I've got a big surprise for 100. It's so big, I haven't even thought of it. If you like other content and podcasts, head over to theprosclub.com. Mike Delivers Pod, Outside the Box with Mike and Leanne, Bad Weather Fans, beer weather reviews, Big O beer reviews, and also Real Talk Basketball with Rex Walters. You know, when I say that out loud, it's kind of cool. I got like a little network. You know, toot my own fucking horn. Jess, you look cute. You look pretty tonight.
Oh, thanks.
You got your A game going.
I do not. It's a good thing it's not a video. But if the baby comes early, we could have a really good 100 episode. If he comes in like 8 weeks.
You mean like
8.5 weeks?
Should I do the podcast as you're giving birth? Is that a thing?
I don't know if that's a thing.
And welcome live to Livingston, New Jersey, where Jessica Geisler-Baseglia is now turning Mike Delivers into Jess Delivers. All right, Jess. Good podcast as always. Enjoyed it. Thank you. We move along. Time to eat dinner. Okay.
Bye.
Oh, best thing you ate this week.
Oh, we're gonna eat it again.
Best thing we ate this week was the Rock City
Detroit style pizza. It is a pop up in Montclair in Jersey City. And it's sponsored by a ramen restaurant. It's all a little confusing, let's be honest.
But it was really good.
But it was excellent, and all the proceeds go to like people who are on the first line responding to COVID.
All right, now we can say it again. Jesse, goodbye.
Bye.